Good day and welcome to the boombar on your boom radio NG, reaching you from beautiful Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Sola Rogers.
And my name is Dolupo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Bid you a warm welcome to the bar this very interesting afternoon that is 4 days or 5 days to the general election.
More like 4 days, And of course, a big shout out to all the people listening to us and people watching us on YouTube and on Facebook. And if you're just joining us for the very first time, we bid you a very warm welcome. The Boom Bar is a 1 hour, show right here on Boom Radio where we kick back, relax, and talk music, sports, politics, and everything in between. Not only do we talk the talk, we also prefer solutions and analyze and try to balance things, just make sure that we cater to all needs and bring a fresh perspective. Not every time would you just listen to things from one side. We try to look at things from different angles, regardless of whose ox is God. That's what we do right here at the Boom Bar.
Okay, so quickly we'll be diving into a lot of things today. There's a lot of course, politics. We know that for the rest of this week, at least, and probably next week,
and probably the week after,
and the one after that, we're going to be talking a lot of politics. So we're going to be talking about people's rallies, the online and the offline ones. There's a lot of stories. I think there's something that we did not put in our headlines that I think I forgot the angle of people's opinions about what spiritual leaders are doing and what they're not. At least a few people are trending, a few churches are trending in that regard. Also, still talking politics, INEC is in the news as well. They've released some numbers for everybody to talk about. Also, the an update of something that happened yesterday, of an announcement that happened with the Police Service Commission, that we would also get to as well. And so that and a few other things, that comes up from time to time. Also, the CBN is in the news. We will like to do a bit of fact checking today.
Yes.
Maybe do a bit of fact checking. Let's see what did what and why somebody's trending and all that. So on that note, bid you a warm welcome to the bar again, and sit back, relax, and let's get right into it. So this very interesting afternoon, we're going to start with I think we should start with CBN. And what's the story with the CBN is that there is a picture that came out earlier this morning that was showed that there was a reversal in the old use of the old 1,000 naira and 500 naira notes. Yeah? And what even made it gain more traction was that there was a screenshot that looked like it was from the Instagram handle of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Honestly, in the past few weeks, she has actually been way more vocal than she has been in God knows how many years. She's been really vocal about the APC presidential candidate, about President Buhari, and about a few other things. So yes, it probably wasn't surprising when some people saw this post. Then shortly after, the CBN came out to say that whatever post that was put out was purported, it was fake, and that they're not going contradictory to what the president had said in his broadcast a few days earlier.
Yeah, and again, we like to sound a note of caution here that please take your time whenever you get these things. If you have time, verify before you forward them or talk about them or drop an opinion about them. Again, verify. One of the reasons why we keep saying that is that we quickly went to check the First Lady's page, and there was no post like that on our Instagram. Oh, except people are going to say that the screen grab was done,
and then
she deleted it.
Deleted it.
But if you take a look at the picture that is trending, allegedly from the First Lady, you would find that it was doctored. It's very easy for you to tell that it was doctored. But again, we'll stand to be corrected. We might just be over-analyzing again, but I just believe that.
But with the evidence that we saw,
it wasn't from her.
It wasn't from her, but a lot of people are taking it to town, and that she posted this, and she posted fake news, and that, in fact, I saw a headline that Aisha Buhari and others peddling fake news will be prosecuted, and I'm like, okay.
Yes, that's a little bit overboard by people. It's a little bit overboard.
No, even if they're going to prosecute people peddling fake news, I feel that it is if you have evidence.
Again, we know that if the CBN puts out information, it will be through its verified sources. It's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram verified, or through a press release.
You know that you honestly cannot also blame some people, because from the CBN, from the presidency, there's been a lot of stories coming out. Let's put it like that. So I will say that at this point, and especially when people are literally looking for good news in the angle that I can spend my old notes and all that, any kind of story right now that comes out, I'm sure will carry a lot of weight, because people just want some respite. It's horrible, and that's the honest truth. It is really horrible. People are going through it. Everybody's going through it. If you decide you don't want to spend the cash and say that you want to go through the e-channels, they're not working. Bank apps are not opening. The ones that are opening, the monies are not going through. The ones that are going through, is hanging in the air.
Don't get me started, please.
So really, I think that as much as, yes, it's fake news and all that, I think that why this thing carries weight so fast is that a lot of people are looking out for good news. Yeah,
a lot of people are looking for something different from what they have at the moment. While a large chunk of people also are actually supporting the CBN policy, completely from end to end.
Are you in Nigeria at all?
Well, remember that some presidential candidates said it was sacrifices that we had to make. One of them made a recant yesterday.
And I saw the NNPP presidential candidate Rabiu Kwakwanso talking about how once he's elected, if he's elected, he will cancel the Naira policy. To be honest with you, I don't think cancelling is the way to go, but maybe easing it to it gradually might be easier. But people should also remember, because when I saw this thing in my mind, I'm like, remember that anybody that even wins these elections on Saturday does not become president until May 29th. And May 29th, nothing happens then until maybe like June 1st. So we're not looking at until if President Buhari does not change this.
Or the Supreme Court.
Or the Supreme Court. Or
because if the president decides to listen to the court.
Exactly. Because right now, I don't think that any pronouncement by the Supreme Court will do anything. It should, on normal circumstances. If the pronouncement by Supreme Court is doing anything, we shouldn't be where we are right now.
Yeah, but now they've not even heard the case, remember. What they were asking for was a stay of action,
which the presidency and the CBN, they still did not
so let's wait for what the Supreme Court.
So that's what I'm saying. So if you can't follow this one, how are we sure you're going to follow that one? But anyway,
when we get there, Sha.
I'm just saying that people also need to calm down and realize that whoever gets in is still president-elect. And President Buhari still continues to be president until May 29th.
Yeah, he continues to be president, and a lot of things can be reversed. if you
After
notice,
then.
if you notice that, regardless of what people say, when Ademola Adeleke became governor, on the day he became governor, he made several pronouncements.
That's what I'm saying. You're not getting my point.
I
What
get
I'm
your
saying
point.
is that
I'm just saying that even if it's June
whatever
1st
that
or not,
is until-
reversals can still be done.
Oh yeah, reversals can be done. But are we still going to? We're most likely going to be in this mess till May 29th. So people should
And so
calm
that's
down.
why some of the politicians are saying, you chill until their own person wins. We've seen videos of governor of Kaduna saying, just wait until their man wins, then you see what will happen. You understand? And I've seen a lot of people from the APC also say, relax guys, go through it, sacrifices also
I
until
honestly
their man
think
becomes
that-
president.
I honestly think that if a particular person or a few people, some people, if once we're done with these elections, I have a feeling a lot of people are going to do away with President Buhari's pronouncements.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say. You said I didn't get I get what you're saying. I'm just saying that when power changes and things happen, people will say and do things. When the late governor Ajimobi left government in Oyo State, the new governor came in, started renaming roads that Ajimobi built and named a certain way. Changed a few things around that Ajimobi had done. Cancelled some things. This is 4 years after. The heavens did not fall. If anything happens in Osun State and Oyetola becomes governor, either through the court or by another election in 4 years, he's also going to do it. He even reversed some of the things that his own party member did.
Anyway,
so that's politics and that's power for you.
But anyway, just putting it out there, according to the CBN as of today, the old 500 naira and 1,000 naira notes still
they are no longer legal tenders.
So even though some states are saying that people should spend it, I see videos of where it was spent today in Lagos State.
Again, there's something I miss about Twitter.
Okay.
So many years ago, when something trends, Twitter will pinpoint the first person that posted it. He says, "Oh, your hashtag is now trending," and they will tag you. I remember when we pushed some hashtag years ago. I saw, oh, your hashtag is trending, but I got that message, right? And I wish they could bring out that feature on Twitter again. We'll be able to trace a lot of these fake stories.
Yeah.
You will know who was the first person that posted this
and
fake picture.
People that were peddling it.
Do you understand? Because again, you said we can't blame people, and I totally agree. We can't. But at least we can trace the source and find out the motive behind it, and maybe stop the person from doing such again. You know? So these are the things that we're talking about. We're counting down to the presidential and the National Assembly elections in 4 days' time.
In 4 days.
And we also want to lend our voice, to the campaign that says, please vote and do not fight.
To be honest with you, as much as, I can't wait for these elections to be over. At least the presidential elections. We know for a fact that a lot of times the governorship elections are not as intense, especially because at that point people already have an idea. People already know for a fact that we already know who is what's at the center already. So I feel that there is a lot of tension that will have been doused by then and all that. But we know that this presidential elections is not just Nigeria. Literally, the whole world is like.
Yeah. Again, one of the things that has caused some kind of ruckus and anger is when some people are telling you that the election might not go your way. I'm not trying to pull any stunt about age or whatever. I'm actually trying to talk about how I had experienced an election from the June 12 elections, and how we were all eager because we saw the results in our own state and our own locale, and we knew that our candidate was winning. Eventually, some results were released that showed that our candidate was in the lead, and the elections were stopped. They didn't announce the rest officially anymore. It was something that led to riots and a lot of violence. Years down the line, there were no elections. It was the military rule and everything until 1999, when President Obasanjo, then contesting against Mr. Olufalaye. And of course, we all had candidates then too.
Yeah.
And we voted.
Yeah.
For me, my candidate did not win. I voted Olufalaye. Never been a fan of Obasanjo. Probably never will be. You understand? But I respect him. I know he's done a few things. Very few.
Okay, you just had to put that out there.
I had to. But we started getting used to the idea of not getting our way. 4 years after, there were candidates, that...
You probably didn't vote for
Obasanjo
again.
Yeah.
And he won.
And he won. And I was looking at the statistics of elections. Someone tweeted it, and I looked at it. I said, wow. Really and truly, in 99, in 1999, in 2003, 2007, and 2011, we were getting 20 plus million votes for the PDP.
Okay.
Then in 2015, when they lost, even the person that won didn't get up to 20 million votes. And ever since that time, we've not had one candidate close to 20 million. We have an increased number of registered voters. We have a 35% voter output when it comes to voting. But the votes are reducing. The registered people are increasing.
Okay, so what does that mean? That there's always been a lot of hanky-panky.
Exactly, because what changed in 2015? What changed in the election? The introduction, of the TVCs and the PVCs and all.
Wait, sorry, hold on. I'm sorry. This is a very genuine question. Don't say like maybe I'm being naive or something. How did we used to vote in 1999?
We had voters cards. We've always had voters cards.
Okay, but they were not biometric.
Remember the election of Ekiti State? The same thing happened in Osun and I think Ondo.
Ondo, yeah.
On the voters register, there was Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I remember that story.
There was Michael Tyson.
Yes.
And other funny names on the voters register.
Yeah. Okay.
What changed? Why did we?
Okay, so that's the part, like...
Because now they started keeping data. The process of registration changed when Jega came.
Yeah.
And changed the system.
I remember the Orubebe's...
and that's why, no matter what anybody says about Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, you must give it to him. That he allowed a system that would actually give you credible elections. Before that time, we barely had credible elections. Even the former president, Yaradua, complained. And he was a good guy. And he was like, look, we need to do something. He started the process. We need to do something about getting it right with our elections. So that's why I said, when you mentioned some president, I'm like, look, I'm not so impressed because go and look at the results. It's there. It's everywhere. I even saved the picture. We can even share it later. That how is it that 99, 4 years after and 4 years within the space of 12 years, the winning party was averaging 20-something million votes. Not averaging, they were getting 20-something million votes. Then they finally lost an election, and there was a sharp drop.
Even the winning party
didn't come close to 20 million.
honestly, I feel that there's going to be a lot more people voting this time.
So
I won't say a lot more, because when we see the number of registered voters that were added completely with the old one, it's barely 10%.
yes, so this is it. This statistically proves that with the Electoral Act that was signed into law by President Buhari, with the work that was started under President Yar'Adua, continued by President Goodluck Jonathan, and taken to a crescendo by President Buhari, your votes will count. Your votes will count. So forget the noise, forget the hula baloo, forget anything.
The only thing is if who you are voting for will win. And that's
But
the number
your
of people. But
vote
your vote will count. It makes sense,
because
actually.
when I talk to a lot of people and they're like, oh, it doesn't. It actually, you were right about then. But it can't happen now.
But I think that people also need to get to the realization that it's a contest and only one person can win.
Yes. And there are standards that you must meet to win.
If your person does not win, does not mean your vote did not count. It's just a contest.
And even when your person wins, please be magnanimous. We need to work together to move this country forward. Nigeria has become too
to be honest with you,
fragmented.
I've always not been a fan of our level of democracy, our kind of democracy, or would I say the idea of democracy in the first place. But it is probably one of the most workable ways in the whole world, workable forms of government in the whole world. Yeah, I will still say it is still basically an imposition of a certain person, of a majority over a minority.
That's what it is.
It is what it is, but that's what I'm saying. Like, until people need to understand that point, because now where I'm going with this is, in the past few hours, we've been seeing people now. The people that they're attacking now are churches. We've seen people come out to talk stuff about pastors. We've seen some pastors stand their ground. We've heard a lot of prophecies back and forth. Do you know, and at times, as a Christian, it kind of gets confusing. Like, can we just not see anything anymore? Because 2 days ago, I saw someone say the person that's going to win, his name is in the Bible. He mentioned one person's name. People went out to look for another person's name. Do you understand? Today, I saw a video of another pastor saying it's another particular person that is going to win.
And God spoke to both of them.
And he saw another person crying, and another person is never going to be president. And you're wondering, like, is it this, like, what's happening? But you know the honest truth, if one of them's prophecy comes out to be true,
said decides to be,
or comes out to be true, then I think we'll be at a point where, look, this is the person that hears from God, this is the person that doesn't hear from God. Or maybe people should probably take the stance of Pastor Paul Adefarasin. I think that a lot of times, religious leaders generally, not just pastors, not just Christians, I think that because we're a very religious, whether we like it or not, we're not secular. We're a very religious kind of people. Our religious leaders are very, very powerful people to a large chunk of people. Some people, what their pastors and their imams say is law. And these people can influence a lot of people. So maybe your influence should be more about letting people have their own minds, letting people decide by themselves what it is they want to do.
You see, the problem with your stance and what you're talking about now is that we all can't see things the same way. We all can't preach the same thing. And for every Paul Adefarasi out there that says he's not going to mix religion and politics, there is a Giwa, there's a Pastor Giwa, or an Eneche, or an Oyedepo who are saying that they are solidly involved in politics. They are involved to the point of even telling you who and whom to vote for.
Who God had said. Funny thing, you know that I saw a video of another pastor. I think it was on Sunday. He was preaching, and he was like that. He feels that we feel that we forget the idea of choice. That, which makes sense to me as a Christian. And he says that anything that human beings have a choice over, that what do we call choice? Whatever people can choose by themselves, God does not interfere in. So, some of these so-called prophecies, he does not believe in them because we are the ones that are going to do whatever it is we want to do.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
You know, the concept of God and God speaking to people will continue to be contentious from now to the end of time. Everybody would have their own interpretation and their own God moment. During the last US elections, Donald Trump was projected as a Christian candidate. It got to a point where all the big churches, virtually all the big churches in the US, said that Donald Trump was the candidate.
Why is it that we never learned?
They went as far as also saying that God had shown them. When he lost that election, a lot of them finally had to believe. Even before the results came out, one of his backers, there was a lady who went on stage and she was, speaking in tongues, and she was directing angels, asking angels to go and work on the results. It's angels from Africa. And I'm like, wait.
What's angel?
Oyibo is asking for angels from Africa.
You know that our angel is very potent. We
pray
a lot.
This one weak me.
We pray a lot.
Again,
so our angels are more fortified.
Churches in Nigeria were backing Donald Trump.
Oh yeah.
They even embarked on rallies and walks for him.
What's you people's business? You
now
like to remind you your business in this life.
You talked about choices and how we need to respect choices and how a pastor was talking about it. And that's the way it should be. But when the church started backing Donald Trump, I said, wait, is it the same Donald Trump? Have we forgotten so quickly that Donald Trump cannot be the candidate of the church? But what did we do? Nothing. We just kicked back and said, let's see what happens. And of course, everything that was going to happen eventually happened. And he lost. One of the big pastors came out to say that his predictions, he apologized. He said his predictions were based on emotion and not on anything spiritual. And this leads me to where we are. A lot of us have taken our emotions and our sentiments and brought it in.
Exactly. I honestly think that everybody's so-called prophecies should be kept to themselves.
There's nothing wrong with prophesying if God spoke to you really and truly, if he did. But again, there's also nothing wrong with you backing. I feel that any pastor that wants to be partisan should be partisan. And any pastor that doesn't want to be partisan should not be. But we shouldn't force our opinions or our choices down people's throats.
Yeah.
This election will teach a lot of us different things.
I hope so.
At the end of the day,
what was making a lot of people very angry is the fact that for the first time in a long time, there are a lot of people that have never really bothered about not voting, because a lot of people that are still making noise are still not going to vote, sadly. That a lot of people have really never concerned themselves with how politics works. I think that's the issue.
One of the three parties was calling for volunteers on social media yesterday. They were calling for volunteers for their situation room. They're asking for 40 volunteers that do not have PVCs. They are hoping that those 40 people, they are going to house them for 3 days and feed them for 3 days and put them in a place where they're going to work in a situation room for a particular party. And the person that tweeted that thing came out a few minutes after to say that she was shocked and in pain that over 300 people had responded in Lagos.
Because people don't have PVCs.
300 people don't have
whether
PVCs.
you want to help monitor, it
Or
doesn't
not.
change anything because you are not doing anything.
At the end of the day, you're not voting.
You're not voting, so you're not changing anything.
You can contribute to this electioneering process, but please, again, don't be a tool. Don't be the one to be used for vandalism or gangsterism or whatever. Because at the end of the day, you know, the results will be counted and one person will be declared winner.
Yeah, just one. At the end of the day, just one.
Regardless.
Just one person.
You know, some of them might even fulfill all the quota, then it comes down to the popular vote.
Yeah.
Some of them.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
Take for example, I think even 2019 and 2015 elections.
Yeah.
Atiku Abubakar got more than 25% votes in 24 states, which is not even going to be surprising that he probably will get it again.
Yeah, it's Atiku. It's not a small fry.
Atiku, it is the PDP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably going to be the same way that what happened in 2015 and 2019 is going to boil down to popular votes. Because 25% of a lot of states with a lot of these big parties is probably won't be a problem for them.
It won't.
So yes, it makes a lot of sense.
It's possible.
It's one of those things. So quickly as we're going to be talking about something, still talking about elections. It's an update of something that we had talked about yesterday, where the Police Service Commission had announced Naja'atu Muhammad as the Northwest Coordinator of the PSC for election duty for the February 25 and March 11 general elections. Now, yesterday, the spokesperson of the APC had come out to vehemently condemn this act and all that, that she's partisan and all that. And now the PSC spokesperson has said that the commission is committed to free and fair elections, and because of that, the Assistant Inspector General of Police Bawa Lawal, who's from the same geopolitical zone as Naja'atu, will now take over the coordination of the PSC at that point. And I felt that it was unnecessary yesterday, but I did a little bit of digging. Yeah, remember we talked about it, and I'm like that. We had said that if she was still in the APC, would they have had a problem with it and all that? Maybe other parties would also have had problems with it. Yeah? But I saw a few statements yesterday that was attributed to her. And I felt that it will not augur well on the police as a whole. I saw a statement where she had earlier said that she's going to stop the APC from having 25% of votes in the north.
Yeah.
She said a lot of things attacking the APC.
You know?
So, is she very partisan? Oh, yeah.
And she probably was going to use the Police Service Commission to achieve this. But the funny thing is that yesterday when we talked about it, I was like, look, she was a member of the APC until a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And only when she left for another party did they think that she was going to be a bad person or not. But I didn't know as at that time that she had been appointed to also oversee elections. Partisan people shouldn't. They shouldn't. And
at the end of the day,
if we
add more, if we to give our systems more credibility.
Now she can now use this power that she has to prevent the APC from getting the 25% in the north that she said they will get in all those states, and help our own candidate Atiku and PDP to do whatever. Because again, to be honest, I never heard of this woman until a
few weeks ago
started saying things that she said.
So now she's no longer the Northwest Coordinator, and then maybe APC can pipe down now. You people have calmed down. I hope people calm down now. Anyway, another update has now come up again on something I've talked about yesterday. Remember the story of INEC and courts and MC Oluomo and all that. Now, we're going all the way to Bauchi, where the INEC in Bauchi has now signed an MOU with all the transport unions for the movement of personnel and materials in the upcoming general elections.
Please read that again.
Bauchi has decided to sign an MOU with the NURTW, the NATO, and all that, everybody to move materials and personnel.
Shouldn't this have a bearing on what's happening in Lagos? Shouldn't there be like one standard for every INEC operation?
It's just an injunction. There's no...
injunction or not. Listen, injunction or not. If you say that...
I don't think Lagos, they have a problem with the body. It's MC Oluomo they have a problem with.
And they said him and anybody or anything that has to do with him. The entire Parks and Management. You know? Mm-hmm. Not just his name. It's not about his person. It's about the entire system. Because according to the people who went to court, Badebo and the other guy who used to be commissioner under Ambode, Oluwo, you know, and all of them, they feel that MC Olumo is definitely going to influence the election by working for INEC. Now, INEC is signing the same contract across Nigeria.
In other states.
Do you understand? So
maybe I feel that is going to have a bearing on the judgment.
Yeah, it should. But I feel that INEC should cancel their deal with all the NURTW across Nigeria.
But my question will now go back to what is the alternative in 4 days to elections? What, honestly, because the case is going to be heard tomorrow. What is the alternative? Are they saying that Lagos State, which is obviously partisan, or the Lagos State government, the current Lagos State government, which is partisan, should provide buses? Isn't that worse? Do you get? Isn't that worse?
Isn't that worse?
Are you saying, as Labour Party and ADC and I think Boot Party, can you provide the transport for INEC? Isn't that also partisan at the end of the day? Who is the other system that is neutral or that has the amount of personnel and vehicles at the same time that can move these things?
Yeah, so they might have to resort to, because I don't like to see doom and gloom all the time. They might have to resort, like I mentioned yesterday, maybe the interstate buses, for instance. But you
said interstate. How many? Can you really compare the number of interstate buses?
And the other private transport companies now? You know, the God is Good, Ifesinachi, Edo Line.
Who's going to pay for all those?
The same money that they wanted to pay the Lagos people, they can pay those people. It's because it's not free.
So what is the guarantee?
That's if those guys are not partisan and if they are not engaged in their own
states as well, in other states.
Do you understand my point now? So, but what I'm just trying to establish here now is that it has always been, you know, the system for INEC to outsource the movement of logistics and logistical weapons, or I say weapons, equipment, you know, to the public transport system, and that's part of their budget. They actually have a budget for
it. That's what I'm saying, and probably
but
even
it's all right
with NURTW and all that. It's probably even cheaper.
Yeah,
and I'm not sure that any House of Assembly is going to give you any other money.
So let's see what the courts will say tomorrow.
Anyway, definitely.
Isn't the Supreme Court also going to talk tomorrow about the Naira thingy?
Oh yeah, that's tomorrow as well.
The court should be busy tomorrow.
Okay.
Hopefully. Is it not tomorrow?
Yeah,
is it Thursday?
It's 22nd. It's 22nd. So we definitely, hopefully, a lot of these judgments will be
before 3 o'clock.
And then hopefully, the Supreme Court does not adjourn this case again.
They can't now. They know it has a bearing on the elections.
It does.
All right.
Anyway, now let's move on from that and let's move on to. Okay, let me just take a few updates of things that we have talked about.
We talked about it in the past, yeah.
Yes. So also, remember the Abuja pastor that brought an AK-47 and the police arrested. looks like Uncle is getting released.
Okay.
Now, the presiding pastor of the House of the Rock, Abuja, has now put out a video apologizing to the congregation of Nigerians for mounting, according to him, an unloaded AK-47 rifle.
We don't care if it's loaded or not. The laws of the land prevent anybody from carrying an assault weapon. We don't want to become a country that allows people to carry these dangerous weapons in public. You can only be licensed to carry a double barrel gun, if you can prove that you want to use it for hunting or whatever. There's a process where the police power, gives you a license for that. Until you do that, you're not supposed to. And I think it's even completely wrong to take the gun off a policeman who was detailed to you as some kind of protection or whatever. Now, we heard that the policeman has been suspended. The man might end up losing his own job, while all you do is apologize and get back on the pulpit.
Yep. He's saying that he's going to step down for a bit to take some time to pray, meditate, and reflect, and also heal.
Please, sir, in the process of doing this meditation and healing, I pray you find God again. But I pray that you remember the policeman that you took his gun.
Yeah.
And maybe look for a way to also help him.
Help him, because
the man is a breadwinner.
He's most likely going to be the one that is going to bear the brunt of all these. It's a very, very interesting. When think
again, I repeat, this pastor could have had a prop of this gun made.
Yes.
You could have gone to the Nollywood people in your church and say, can you help me get a prop of an AK?
I'm sure that is probably somewhere around. Talking about props, yeah. I've been seeing this thing around a lot, where now, maybe because it looks like somebody is going to jail because of it, party planners and event planners seem to now be making fake money, dummy notes
to
spray.
Yes.
So that you do not spray the naira. But was we spray money?
So quickly, let's talk about it's a Nigerian culture. It's a Nigerian culture to spray. In fact, Wale, the Nigerian born American rapper, made a song about money on the floor, spray. It's a Nigerian thing, right? But we're moving away from it now. I joked about it earlier. Where they're going to be spraying coins, or you want to spray Wasiu. You now do transfer.
There's not even a lot of cash.
You now do transfer to Wasiu and say chiki, like 1 million. Wasiu say, no me 1 million, no me 1. That's it. Or you revert to what people were doing at some point in time, which was to spray the $1 note. Now, spraying the dollar in Nigeria is not a crime. There's no Nigerian law
that says
you cannot spray dollar. So yeah. So hey guys,
if you try it anywhere,
you understand. So I'm not advising you people to do anything. I'm just telling you that there's no law as at today. Again, recently at an event, Portable, the Nigerian artist, the guy that I think the Zazu song,
the guy is not very bright. I'm sorry.
It was at an event where these dummy notes were sprayed, and what he was supposed to do was that at the end of it was supposed to be redeemed.
Yeah.
Then he took all the money home. Then makes a video.
And then he's not making a video. And it's not bright.
And the guy that actually sprayed the money tagged that tweet and said, I was the one that sprayed the bulk of his money to this guy. And look at what he has done and everything. I felt for that guy. But hey, the spraying culture, sadly, is dying. Maybe children in 10 years' time will hear and see videos of how if people like Dolupo used to spray money.
Excuse you? Well, on live television,
you have never sprayed money before.
I beg you, name of God.
You have never sprayed money before.
I beg you, name of God. Please,
I didn't say Nigerian Naira. I just said sprayed money.
We are live television.
Have you? I put it to you that you have sprayed money before.
Where's the evidence?
I might have some.
You don't have evidence.
Are you sure?
You don't.
Google photos. Okay.
You don't have evidence.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anyhow.
Right to the public eye.
Some people are afraid of EFCC.
Please, I beg you, name of God. I don't spray anybody.
Again, the culture of spraying money is probably dying.
Number one, there's not enough cash. Number two, it looks like some people are seriously going to go to jail.
I also saw a video, a guy that sings just like King Wasiu Ayinde Marshal. I think this party happened somewhere in Akure. I saw the video, last night. I even showed someone that was close to me. I was like, see. The guy was cursing the CBN governor.
Yeah, I didn't see the video, but I saw the I saw it somewhere, but I didn't watch the video.
I watched the video twice. Heavy curses, oh.
That people didn't get to spray him.
Everybody was watching him sing. Parties have become concerts now.
The little cat you have, you hold tight it to your
chest.
Oh
my God.
Tight it to your chest.
If you're at an event anytime and you see all these guys that sell Naira, please take a picture. Let us see what it looks like. I've not heard about those guys in a while.
Yeah. So really and honestly, I think that people and this is what we've been saying for a long time. At times, a little bit of enforcement, people just need a bit of head resetting.
But in Nigeria, I'm afraid that at times enforcement also expires. A few years ago, there was talks about how you were supposed to go on a bike with your helmet. Go and check now. In the places where bikes are allowed to operate freely, no helmets, none. The helmets have disappeared. The same thing with the seat belt. Like, there was a time when the law about seat belts was being enforced.
It was crazy.
People were really afraid. I got into a cab once, and the man had something that looked like a seat belt, and he said that I should just help him drape it across,
so that at least
so that the police will not catch us. I'm like, I actually like using seat belts. He said, I know that people always complain. He had cut his seat belt years ago to tow his car one time like that. So he now went to buy one kind of rope-like thing and told me I said, can I sit in the back? At least in the back, there's no enforcement. So I went to sit in the back. And I like sitting beside cabmen, but I had to sit in the back for this one. And that law now, you find that people are not bothered. But you see, you should be concerned about your own safety.
Your own safety as well.
It's about your safety, not about being caught. So again, it's the same thing about the Naira abuse. I have a feeling that in a few months' time, everything will be back to normal.
I think the only reason why it might not be back to normal is because there is not a lot of cash to go around.
What happens when they reverse it, if any of these guys win?
Okay, that's true. That is also very, very, very true. Quickly, let's move to come all the way to Lagos. Today is the APC's mother of all rallies, in Lagos State. We saw the rally that happened earlier, I think over the weekend, at the home of the vice presidential candidate of the APC. Was a very massive one. In Lagos State right now, we're talking about this yesterday. Everybody sit behind in the house or wherever you are, or don't go to some areas. Of course, everywhere. So pictures and videos that are coming out.
It's crazy.
It's not looking good for any motorists on the road at the moment. So that's the final rally. I know that PDP did theirs as well in Adamawa State over the weekend. So we see a lot of that. But there's a very interesting story that I saw, that the PDP is now holding their first ever virtual, what you would call, rally, basically. And the thing is that how well is that going to work?
Oh, well, again, we remember during the lockdown how virtual meetings and virtual things became, the go-to. It was the thing. It was what we had to do and all. But we also had that change, everything for us. Some businesses have changed forever. Some are going back to their old ways, and some are trying to adapt. So if we do a virtual rally, I would actually like to be a part of it. I would like to, maybe not as a partisan person, but as an observer, to see, how did they pull it off? What's the concept? Again, with the virtual rally, the advantage is that you can be heard, because if they allow people to talk at these things, it's not just at rallies. At the other rallies, it's about a call and refrain, So it might not be a bad thing if the Atiku virtual rally, is done and done properly, and people can join.
And still talking about a bit of updates that we're we had happened yesterday. Remember that it was a story of the ADC collapsing their structure into the Labour Party, which I think that a lot of Labour Party had members or people that like them have gone to town with. I don't want to say it's an unfortunate thing, because later in the day, then there was a story which came out, and then there was also a tweet from the vice presidential candidate of PDP, Governor Okowa, also talking about an endorsement from the ADC.
Yeah.
And then, wait, before you finish,
Yeah, carry on.
there was also now a press release, and there was basically like a media briefing of the ADC presidential candidates talking about how he's not stepping down for anybody. Who do we believe?
So the only thing we're going to do is to take all the information in and break it down and push it back out. So from all of this, it looks like there are different factions of the ADC.
Oh yeah. And the question is, how big is the old party that you already have 3 factions?
Well, everybody's talking about them in the last 48 hours, so it looks like they're that big, you know. I saw a tweet from a top Peter Obi supporter a few minutes ago, and he was talking about how the ADC had collapsed its structure into the Labour Party and also Boot Party. Yeah, and it was being supervised by Pa Ayo Adebanjo of the Afenifere. So that's the ADC in a nutshell. The same ADC is endorsing the PDP. And the same ADC says, no, we're not endorsing anybody, we're still contesting. Same ADC suspended their presidential candidate at some point in time.
That's what I'm saying.
The solution to this,
I don't think that you should go to town with the endorsement of a party that seems very confused. I'm sorry. So
the solution to this for me is INEC being empowered more to ensure that there's some form of verified communication channel by the parties, so that we're not fooled. Like Nigerians know that the ADC that is talking is the right ADC. So if they're endorsing Peter Obi, fine. If they're endorsing Atiku, fantastic. If they're endorsing Sola or anybody, that's what they want. If it's Tinubu, it's fine. Do you understand? So 3 factions only spells confusion. Because from the look of things, there are 3 different ADCs.
Okay, so quickly, news that just came in now that President Buhari has arrived Lagos State for the APC campaign rally. I don't think there was an announcement about him coming. According to the story, he landed at the National Stadium. He's what's he called? His helicopter landed at the National Stadium at 2:35 p.m.
Yeah. After his party member shut down Lagos, you know, I've been seeing videos of how they moved from the airport through Oshodi. Now, they did not go through Ikorodu Road as expected. They went through Mushin. And it's a total
Agege Motor Road.
Oh my God. It's a total shutdown. Like,
and that road is not already very wide.
It is actually a dual carriage road.
It is, but it's not.
It is just like Ikorodu Road. People always forget that was the main artery for Lagos.
I get it. I'm not. It is not. I don't think it's as wide as Ikorodu Road. It's
because there's no service lane.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Ikorodu Road has a 2-lane service lane.
Yes.
But it is still the same dual carriage.
Yeah.
But Ikorodu has the service lane.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I get
not
what
as
you're
wide.
saying.
So it's. And that place is already, if anybody that knows that,
with the markets,
it's a very, very choky.
There are about 4 markets on that road.
Yes, it's a very choky road.
What about Oshodi that they went through and they were having some kind of carnival there? No.
Shut down.
So it's stormed this.
So they went through, then get to Ojuelegba. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then eventually they made it to the stadium, and there were other movements from different parts of Lagos. So it's indeed what they said it was going to be. The crowd is crazy. You know, there've been different reports coming out of the place. There are stories of a journalist from Trust TV being attacked. We are yet to confirm that by some mob. And again, there's another headline that talked about how vendors at this venue or testing, but are actually receiving the old
Naira
Naira freely
notes.
and selling, and they are doing brisk business there, and President Buhari has been out of the country for days at his last AU assignment, and he's back in time, to support his party's candidate. A lot of people were even saying that, you should stay away, there's no need, and all of that. But I think Buhari, being a man of his word, I picked out the campaigns that he was going to attend, and he has attended every single one.
Did.
A lot of people are also still talking about who is not there, rather than talk about who is there. Then again, what's trending now is Naira Marley.
Oh, really?
Naira Marley is at that event.
Oh, wow.
Naira Marley
that's why he's at the event?
He has performed at that event.
I saw him trending, but I didn't know that was why he was trending. Oh, wow.
He has performed at the event, and of course, a lot of people don't like the idea that Naira Marley has performed at the event. People are now showing them videos of P Square performing at, Peter Obi's event, his own mother of all rallies that happened in Lagos, 2 weeks ago. You get. And people are like, okay, so why are you saying that this person can and this person cannot? But again, we will get to a point where we'll understand that at some point people need to make their choices, do what they want to do, and be what they want to be. It's crazy.
Anyway,
no. Okay, carry on.
Now, looking at from that, there's a story from the courts that the Court of Appeal in Ekiti has now affirmed the governorship election of Biodun Oyebanji as the governor. I think that's good news for the governor. It's good that at times, when I say these days, because we like to go to courts a lot, the court affirming your election is very good.
Most of these governors wait for this judgment, actually. Regardless of anything that has happened in their swearing in, they know that the court can sack them at any point in time. And that's what Governor Oyebanji has gotten. I hope now that he can actually get back to work.
Yeah, quickly on that, there's a story that, I completely forgot. Sadly, there's NNPP House of Reps candidate that has now died. He dies 4 days to elections, and that I'm not sure that's very good news for
he represents he was supposed to represent the NNPP in Kano, in one of the federal constituencies there, but sadly he passed on. I think it was on Monday or so.
Yeah. Finally, before we go, there's a story that's coming from the Nigerian army where they're talking about how the Naira swap has mitigated ISWAP and Boko Haram activities in the northeast.
Well, that's what the army is saying, that so far it's mitigating it and all of that. But again, it also hasn't stopped the bandits from now doing some kind of trade by barter, rather than get money. They want food and all of that. And according to the army spokesperson or army liaison person, it has also made them, more or less like ramp up their social media hype and all of that, trying to present themselves as bigger than they are, but they've actually been decimated and all of that.
Yeah, we see a lot of that almost every day right now. So shout out to the army right here on from Boom Radio. And on that note, that is all we able to take today on the Boombar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you a wonderful edition of The Bar. Please do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.